All right, welcome back to the big board. Another quick update on this Splendid Little War, or a Splendid Little War. We're at the end of turn 3. Well, actually, we're not at the end of turn 3. We're at the end of turn 3 for the Americans, and the Spanish are yet to go. And here's the dealio. I've actually done more damage as the Americans in the defensive fire phase of the Spanish turn than I have actually assaulting, which is kind of unusual. So, for instance, and I'll show you by example. There's a unit under here. He's got strength of 2. All these guys have pretty much have 2. And it's the combat phase. The combat phase goes defensive fire, offensive fire, assault, right? Now, I don't have to be fired at to fire defensive fire. I don't have to be assaulted to fire defensive fire the way the rules are worded or the way I'm reading them. So we have a situation here where I can fire my 5 factors into the trenched unit there. And let's say, that's probably not gonna be good enough. I roll a 4 on the 5 column. Yeah, so I would miss there because I actually would have to add 1 for an entrenchment. So it'd become a 6. I can fire these guys. I could have combined my fire and fire 11. If I did 11, that would be a 1 result, and that dude would die, and he would be gone. Now, simultaneously, if he wanted to, if he had an attack to do, an assault, if he had elected to assault, I think we roll off for that potentially, or it'd certainly roll off for the offensive fire phase anyway. I know that much. And that becomes a simultaneous thing. But so that guy dies, right? Now here, same situation. I can combine my firepower and shoot this guy. Let's roll the die. If I roll low, 2, I roll a 2. So that'll kill that guy, gone. And then here, we have the same situation. I've got a bunch there. I've got the Colby repeating rifle and the Rough Riders for strength of 8. Let's roll the die and hope something good happens. I roll a 0, so yeah, that guy would also die. And that's all the bad guys off the board at the VP hexes. Now, of course, the sad thing is, it's the end of the scenario and it's the end of turn 3. So the pressure here is to do better than what I did because I'm not able to move into the final VP hexes and capture them. So relatively well-balanced scenario, probably some better and more efficient gameplay and clearly better die rolling on my part. May have given the Yanks the win that they picked up here traditionally or historically. So look, interesting scenario, interesting, well, I won't call it an interesting system. I'll call it a basic system that represents the history quite well. I don't know that it really generates any flavor or narrative for me at all. It's all very generic, I would say, generally speaking. I like the maps, like the counters. Counters are a little thin, but they work. And the rules have got, not holes, but gaps or uncertainties for me anyway that I found maybe double or second guess my approach to the game, and second guess my interpretation of the rules. And given that I'm still banned on Board Game Geek, I can't ask questions there. And I've had no response to any questions that I've posted so far, on social. And I don't, you guys know I don't do Constant War very much anyway. So look, what do I think about this game? I think I'd like to play at some point, maybe play the campaign game, just to see how the yellow fever factors into things. It's clearly a whitewash for the Americans. Now, I do have units off screen here that would come on second turn. It's just some guerrillas and 1 combat unit. So, they could come on here and march up into trouble and, well, they wouldn't have been able to get into there because that would have had something in it. But we really couldn't have got to anywhere to stop any further activity anyway, but we would have been some bullet catchers, more bullet catchers on the map, and I could have pushed these guys up somewhere as well, potentially, but all the VP hexes are here. Anyway, it's interesting, and if you want to play something on the Spanish-American War, there's really not much going on, so this would be it. And it is a relatively long campaign. It's 28 turns. It'll play very, very quickly. This becomes super intuitive once you get going. You're not. This is not the ASL of the 1898 era. Let me tell you that. So look, quite enjoyed it. I would say, generally speaking, as you can probably tell from my words and my tone, I'm sort of equivocating here on what how enthusiastic I am about it. I think it's a nice little game, and if you want to explore it, you should. I'm sure there are those amongst us who are deep in the history of this particular era and this battle and this campaign that could probably tweak it up and add some more advanced rules, things like that, and sexy it up a little bit. But otherwise, it's a good generic feeling game. I think it feels somewhat like the American Revolution series from GMT, which the name escapes me at the moment. But that's kind of the level of complexity I would say it holds for you. It's not going to hurt your head to sit down, read the rules, and start moving units almost immediately. In fact, there's a 1 or a 2 turn scenario here that you can play, and there's 10 counters on the map, and you will be 100% comfortable with combat right after that. All right. All the best. A splendid little war. I would call it a somewhat interesting little war. Ciao.